This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so let me share my screen. So today we are going to see the architect which we have talked about yesterday. What exactly there is there in each of that architect that we are going to discuss it today. So moving towards the first architect, that was Tosca repository. Okay. So now, as I said, that Tosca repository is the database where we will be working on. Okay. Now, here in this Tosca repository, we have different types of repositories. So this is the workspace which we create. So at this particular initial stage, we have to select the repository which we are going to use. So here, if you can see, we have different options like SQL, SQLite, Oracle, MS SQL Server, and Database 2. So these are the different options available with us as the repository. Most of the time, we use the SQLite.
Sridhar, sorry to interrupt. Sorry
Yeah,
to interrupt. Is the screen visible to others because I cannot see anything on the screen?
Yes, it's visible.
It is visible.
Okay, okay, let me rejoin. Thank you.
okay. So here, these are the four different types of repository. Again, it is a question which is mostly asked in the interview that what are the different types of repository in Tosca. Okay, so if you guys can make a note of it that we have these repositories, and currently when we are in the learning stage, when we are practicing, we will be using this one which is done, that is create single user workspace. Okay, where only we will be working in that particular workspace. Okay, so now is the screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, okay, so here, so this was the first workspace page where we create the workspace. Now here talking about the Tosca repository, so we have the options SQ, SQL Lite, then the other one is Oracle, then we have MS MSQL, MSSQL like server, and the last one is DB2. Okay, so this was about Tosca repository. The second architect which we have seen is Tosca Commander, right? Now, here in Tosca Commander, so if you guys see in Tosca Commander, we have modules, test cases, test planning, issues, test case design, execution, scratchbook. So let's talk about each of the each of the sub tabs in detail. So firstly, talking about the modules. Now, what exactly we do in modules is we extract the technical information. For example, yesterday, I don't remember, in yesterday or day before yesterday's session, we have seen an example of registration where we were having the different options of gender and then uh, email, first name, last name. So all these boxes where we are going to input the value, so these boxes are considered as the technical information which we extract while we are creating a module. Okay. Now the next is test case. So here in test case, what we do, the technical information which we have extracted in this modules, we provide business information. Okay. So for example, whenever we are providing any kind of values to these technical extracted modules, we say that we are making a test case. Okay. So here, if you can see, these are the modules which we have created. These same modules will be inputted with the values in this particular test case section. For an example, here, if I'm inputting some value, that is called providing business information. Okay. Now here in test case, we have this particular option called action mode. Okay. So in this action mode, we have different action modes such as input, select, buffer, wait on, constraint, constraint, and wait on, input, buffer, select, constraint, and insert. Okay, so these are the different action modes which are available in the test cases section, which we have to use and provide the activity carried out by that business information. Okay, so for a clear picture, here is the value, means the business information which we want to provide. And from here, what action this particular value needs to do, that will be instructed from this particular section of action modes. Okay. Sorry, I missed out verify. Another one is verify. Okay. Now, after module test case, we have execution. Okay. Now here in execution, we run the designed test cases. Okay. Here in execution, whatever we have provided in this test case will be ran in the execution part. Now, here in the execution also, we have two methods. One is the execution and one is the scratchbook. Okay. So here we can say scratchbook also. So what is the difference between scratchbook and execution? In scratchbook is the temporary run page. Like whenever we are working on any of the uh, test case, we have to try whether that test case is working properly or not, or is it having any kind of technical error or something. So in that case, as soon as we have created the test case, we make it run through the scratchbook. Whereas once the scratchbook we have already uh, ran in the scratchbook, then we execute the same in the execution list. There we have a proper record that which test case was ran, what was its result, whether it got passed or failed, and through this only we can create our reports. So for if we want the reports to be generated, if we want a proper record to be recorded, like for example, this particular login. So here, if you can see, it is showing the green tick, and here same for that, it is showing the red tick. So that means that it has failed one time and passed one time. Whereas we have tried the second time on this particular date where all the three got passed. So this is what kind of update we get when we are using the execution part. Whereas in Scratchbook, we won't be able to see any records. But yeah, once we are making it run at that particular time, it will show you the error, the pass, and the fail, all the results. Okay, clear? Now, moving towards the test case design. So, again, this test case design is another, we can say, another different feature in itself of the Tosca. And when we are saying test case design, many of the times you may face this challenge that the system on which you are working, the Tosca application which you are working, here instead of this Tosca commander, it will show you Tosca SAP. In Tosca SAP, we have just these three features only: module, test case, execution, and scratchbook. Whereas in Tosca Commander, we have these features. Means this is an extra feature which is available only in Tosca Commander. And this particular test case design is something which we create the test sheets. These kind of sheets are created where we provide the details, and the best benefit of it, we can create the templates using test case design. We can create templates and test cases using PCD. Okay. Then coming to the test planning. So again, sorry, generally we don't use this particular test planning section from the Tosca Commander, but what exactly it does, we can have a record that which task is given to which tester. So when we are planning, we have to divide the test cases. For example, we are having 15 to 20 test cases. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to divide them that we have 15 test cases and we have three guys with us, three testers with us. So each tester will be doing these three test cases that we have to assign. So that part can be done in this test planning section. Then issues. So again, this part we are going to see, but for these two parts, we use different tool for the management. So in issues, we can report the bugs in the issue section. For example, when I am carrying out any kind of execution and I faced some bug, okay, so that bug I'm going to report in this section and then the developer will check on it. Okay, so this was about Tosca repository and Tosca command. Any doubts still here?
Ma'am, you just
No.
mentioned right during. No, I have one question. So you just mentioned for the SAP automation, we'll not be able to see test case design, right?
No,
But
no. I mean to say there are
Mhm.
different Tosca application. Okay.
Okay,
One is the Tosca Commander, and the other one which you get from the like most of the company use that is Tosca SAP, which they get
okay,
free of cost. As I said in the first session, that Tosca and SAP are partners. Okay, so
okay,
Tosca has designed a separate application, but what we are learning is the overall application, and that Tosca SAP one is something which is having less features compared to this,
okay. So what we generally use for SAP projects?
depending upon your company, your firm, what they
Okay,
say. Okay. Because every
okay,
company have their choice, but like I have been using this Tosca Commander only, even in the SAP projects.
okay.
Yeah.
In company,
Any other doubt?
same.
Sorry,
Tosca Commander my company.
your voice is not clear.
Okay, leave it, madam. Leave it.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're audible, Sunil.
Hello.
Yes,
In
Sunil,
in
tell me.
my in my company, I am using Tosca Commander.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay.
So most of the company prefer Tosca Commander only, but the companies who are going with the provided version in the SAP market, that is the just Tosca SAP. So anyhow, we will be covering all the things. So we won't be facing any kind of challenge whether it is a Tosca Commander or it is a Tosca SAP. The working will be same, just they don't have this particular section. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, I have a
Any other?
doubt.
Yeah, sure.
When you are explaining the modules, you told me that it will have the technical information, and in the
Yes.
test case, you are providing the business information, meaning that we are providing the input data. So, is
Yes.
that when you say test cases, I mean that is where I'm getting confused. When we usual in the real project scenarios, I mean we will have some set of actions to be performed and we will have an expected result, and if it gets we will say pass. That is what a test case usually it will be, right? So in
Yeah,
that
right.
case, so now if you, we can say you showed me some login page, right? So in that case, the we had only three controls, I believe. One is the user
Right.
ID, another one is the
Username.
password, and another one is the login button. So these
Yeah.
three's information will be in the module. The technical information, how to locate that, it will be in the module,
Yes.
and um, the test case will have the input for that particular three controls. That we will
Right.
group and we will have it as one test case. Is that correct? Is my understanding correct?
Yes. Yes.
And in the
Correct.
execution part, you told like two things. One is the execution and another one is scratchbook. In the execution, we will have the history of the execution, and the scratchbook is only the temporary phase. So in the scratchbook is only during the time of development, man. And once it gets into production, or I mean, once it's finalized, the script is finalized, then we
Yeah.
won't use that scratchbook.
Right. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. That's what
Um,
clarity you wanted, right? Or
Think,
anything
I mean,
else?
since it's theoretically, I mean, I mean, I'm seeing, right? So that is where I'm getting
Yeah, yeah.
confused. I mean, when we
No
get the
problem. No
access, I
problem.
believe
Please.
that no, I will,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be.
definitely.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Feel free to ask any kind of questions because here we are to learn, right? Your question can be a basic for you or for anyone, but after all, you should have the clarity, right? So here, look, like this is the module which we have created. Okay. So every time it's a best practice to create a new module for a new page. So here, if you can see, this is the page from which I have created this particular module. Okay. So now here in the login page, I have email, password, and the login button. Now the same module I'm going to use in this test case section to provide the username. So for example, here I am giving the username, password, and a click on this particular button. Okay.
Okay, one more question, ma'am. When you show this one, I mean, you created, say, that is, I mean, this is this page that you are showing is a simple page. Let us consider that there is a big page. So in that case,
Right.
I mean, I'm having, let us consider, I mean, with three, say, let us consider that it has some 25 controls in it. In that case, I can create five controls as a one module, and another five case as another module, and while creating the test case, I can combine the different modules and create one test case. Is that
Yes.
possible? Is my understanding correct? Okay, okay,
Yes.
ma'am. Thank you, thank you, ma'am.
Definitely, you can do that. Okay. So for
Thank you.
example, here, these are the test steps. Okay. This is a test case. These are the test steps. So you can create multiple test steps inside a test case. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
I have a question. Like you
Yeah, sure.
mentioned, like we can issues section, right? We can report
Yeah.
the bugs in the issues section so that developer can look into that. So whether in the real time also, whether developer will look into the issues in the Tosca
No.
commander,
No. We report issues in the different tool, defect
tool
management.
Q test ALM like that.
Yeah.
Only we will report the
Right.
issues, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Okay. What are the
still these two features are something which are available and which are good till an extent, but still in corporates they are not considering these two sections.
test plan and issues, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the scratch book, right? So,
Yeah.
if we are going to design a new test case, we will check in scratch book,
Right.
and in the execution, uh,
We
can
will
you
be doing
repeat
the
about
final
execution?
run.
Final draft. Okay, okay, I got it.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Okay
thank you.
then. So this was about Tosca repository and the Tosca commander. Now talking about the next architect, that is Tosca XCAN. Okay, Tosca Scan Wizard. So now here in Tosca Scan, where we can use, sorry, we can use it when we are creating the modules, creating the modules. Okay, so that I have already shown you on the first day that here in the Tosca application, when we are trying to create or trying to extract the technical data from the application, we have to scan that application. So this particular page is called the Tosca XScan or Tosca Scan or Tosca Wizard also. Okay. Then the next architect is Tosca Executor. Okay. To run the test case, we use this section. Okay. So as you can see here in the execution section, so let me just run this and show you. So here I have a simple test case where I'm just doing the opening of an application and doing the login. So when I make it run, it is going to open the application, do the login part. So the background in which it ran is called the Tosca Executor component. Okay, clear? And last, we have Tosca license. So this one is available only with the companies who have bought the license for the on-premise application. Okay. So here we complete all the Tosca architect. So anyone is having any kind of doubts? Because from Monday, we are going to start with the main installation and everything. Today, this is the last, sorry. So today, this is the last demo session which we was having. From tomorrow, we will be starting with the regular batches where we will start with the installation and everything. How to apply for the license, how exactly it is going to work and everything. So if you guys have any doubts, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, I just wanted to check like how multiple datas were